Is this the real life?
Sorry, Penny. That is incorrect. We are starting in like 3 minutes. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Rodriguez? Penny, how you doing?
No escape from me. Open your eyes. Look up to the skies and see I'm just a poor boy, scraping by minimum wage. Born in the shadows of the city lights, concrete cradle under endless nights. Daddy worked 2 jobs, mama prayed for rain. Bills like chains rattling around my brain. But I read the books when the wolves were at the door. Charts and candles on the bedroom floor. Stocks in the morning, real estate at noon. Silver and gold under the harvest moon. Sweat on my collar, fire in my veins. Every dollar saved was breaking free from the pain. They said play it safe, boy, stay in line. Clock in, clock out till the end of time. But the system's a cage with a velvet disguise, promising heaven while it steals your life. Rise from the ashes I built my throne. Turn pennies to empires of my own. Stocks and stones, bricks of gold, silver rivers in the stories I told. I broke the wheel, I broke the road, golden chains, no more. Golden chains, no more. I sold my fear for a pocket full of grit. Learned the hard math, made the numbers fit. While they were laughing, I was making my move. Every red defeat had something left to prove. Late night hunger and a borrowed chair, 1 cracked lamp and 1,000 stairs. I watched the weak hands fold and bend, then I doubled down and called it the end. Now the same old names come crawling back, knocking on my door with their polished stack. But I know that sound, I know that price. I paid in blood for this smaller life. They said stay small, boy, stay in line. Clock in, clock out till the end of time. But the system's a cage with a velvet disguise, promising heaven while it steals your life. Rise from the ashes I built my...
Top of the morning to you fellow stackers out there. Today we picked up a couple coins here that I want to highlight. Been trying to add these coins to my collection and increase, the rarity and try to fill out this album that I've kind of put off for a while. So we're starting to kind of piece it back together. And what I was going to do is use that also as an opportunity to go through the coin grading guide here, right? So this is the American Numismatic Association grading standards for United States coins. And I've really enjoyed what I've read through this book. They've got fine details on everything, on exactly how to identify them. So I just got this coin in recently. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Penny Scout as well. Good morning, Rodriguez. Good morning, Mr. Walter Thibodeau. Thanks for being here. So we just picked up this coin right here. This is the 1921 No Mint Mark Philadelphia. So what we'll do here is we will get this bad boy under a microscope and check it out thoroughly. Enjoy it. This coin cost a little bit. This is a very worn down 1921 Philadelphia, and I think I paid like $72 for it. So basically the price of an ounce of pure silver. But why did I get this? Well, I needed it for my album, number 1. And number 2, there's only about 250,000 of these ever minted in the United States of any condition. So the coins like this, in what a lot of people would consider sort of like collector condition, the mint states and stuff, and the almost uncirculated, those are going to be upwards of tens of thousands of dollars. So not looking to spend that kind of money on that right now. just trying to get some fillers in here, and that's where we're at. So yeah, we're gonna get these guys popped out of here, get them under the microscope. And this one's a 1921S. I showed this last time we were live, but some of you may not have seen it. But yeah, we got the 1921S as well here. So cool little coins to upgrade the album and to fill some new slots. So that's the basis of it. I also have, this whole tube here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but this tube here is full of coins between 1933 and 1916 that also could be graded. If we're rocking and rolling and having a good time and learning stuff, we can go through a little bit, a few more coins to see different examples. But yeah, that's the thing. I got the microscope out right here, which you can see. And if I do this right here, watch this, check it out. So you guys know how this works out. Bam. I can switch over to this. Boom. And y'all are seeing now exactly what I'm seeing in the microscope. So we can really get into some of the finer details here, zoomed in really close on these coins and see, again, how do we think it's going to grade based on the true condition, the true condition of these coins, taken at different angles. Kind of cool, huh? Yeah, that's it. Other than that, I just kind of thought the conversation this morning, it's going to be a dreary, cold, slow Sunday morning probably around here, but I wanted to have a conversation about just what do you guys, do you guys evaluate coins like this, or do you just stack bullion? If you do, kind of look for, numismatic type coins, what's your rarest coins? What coins are you collecting? What's rare for you? That kind of stuff. So yeah. So real quick, before we get into the microscope, I wanted to kind of go through here and read off some of the identifiers according to this grading manual to understand where we're at. So about good, right, is AG is kind of like as bad as a coin can get. Well, that's not true. That's not true. So 8, we got about good, good, and very good. I don't think we need to go beyond this page for these older dates like this. So about good is I guess the lowest that you could ever get graded would be ungradable coins because they've been doctored or they're fakes, counterfeits, whatever. That would be bullion. Could care less about numismatics. I don't know how exciting this live stream is going to be then for you. But yeah, so about good is really the lowest end that you can get. So number 1 through 3. So AG 1 through 3. I don't actually know if they do a 0 or not. I'll have to check that out. I don't think they would. I think that would just be an ungradable coin, undistinguishable of what it is. Maybe like looks like a planchette or something. Then we have good, which goes from, I believe, G4 to G7. So 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe, will be your good rating. And then you have very good, which starts at 8 and runs up to 11. So 8, 9, 10, 11 can be in good. After good, you get into fine. And when you get into fine, we'll talk about, I'll go through each indicator, but when we get into fine, we're actually now talking about a pretty decent coin. I think for most of our standards, if you were looking at the coin, you'd be like, yeah, that's a pretty solid coin. I can see all the words, I can see all the letters, I can see all the numbers, and I can see all the mint marks and, signatures and all that kind of stuff. So here we go. About good. Outlined design. Parts of date and legend are worn smooth. All right. The obverse right here. Figure is outlined with nearly all details worn away. Legend is visible but half worn away. Date is weak but readable. Rim merges with lettering. All right. That's on the obverse. On the reverse, entire design is partially worn away. Letters are merged with the rim. And so this is what the requirements are to get an AG3. So I'm going to switch over here to the camera, to the microscope, excuse me. And we'll look at this and we'll kind of get an idea here. So they're saying here, let's start on the outside of the rim here. So we're on the obverse here and it's saying figure is outlined. All right. Yes, this looks like just a shadow box of the figure, right? You can see her blouse, you can see her arm, you can see her head, but pretty much no detail anywhere. All we really see is that the figure is outlined, but again, there's no real details anywhere on the figure. It just looks like a big flat outline. So we checked that box. It's not a good box to check, but we checked that box, right? All right. Nearly all details worn away. Yes, we just discovered that. Legend is visible, but half worn away. So half worn away here. on all the legend. We can see the "In God We Trust" is pretty good there. The date right there, you can make out the date. You can see the sun. You can see Liberty. So there's the I. So L I B E. The R is right here. T and Y. Okay, so we are definitely, legend is visible but half worn away. I'd say we are satisfying that criteria. Date is weak but readable. I think that I would disagree right here. I don't know if this would be considered weak. To me, this is very readable. Now it's like half worn away, I guess I would say, but I would say that this satisfies the criteria of being date is weak but readable. I would say yes to this. And then the rim merges with the lettering, right? I would say boom, boom. That looks like it almost has a little bit of rim, actually. There's a little bit of rim still showing right there. A little bit of rim there, but it is kind of merging there. This one here, it's definitely merging there. The R right here, it's merging there. And then the T, I think, distinctly stands out of the rim. And then the Y is merged in there. So I would say, 50-50 on merging, but I would say yes. On the obverse, we satisfy all the criteria of an AG3. I don't know what you guys think. Hey, what's up, Chad? How you doing, bud? I would say that we satisfy all the criteria of an AG3. So now we'll go through here and we'll look at the reverse. All right, reverse says the entire design is partially worn away. Okay, absolutely. You can see like pretty much no feathers on the eagle. It's just a big giant outline. I mean, there's a little bit of feathering there, but this is, for the most part, all details are gone. Like the eye and the beak, there's supposed to be a nostril there, beak, it's all kind of worn away. The neck feathers are completely gone. The breast feathers completely gone. Now there is some feathering there. There's a little bit of the eye there. Hey, what's up? Going metal detecting. Nice. Good luck, man. Find some treasures. My buddy goes out every so often. He always seems to be coming back with some cool coins and collectibles and stuff. So I think he found a seated Liberty $50 or something recently. Yeah, okay, so we're satisfying that. And then letters merge with the rim. So we're looking right here. Definitely, the E pluribus unum definitely merged there. The U in definitely merged there. We got the States of America, however, kind of does distinctly break away from the rim. So I think that's a positive for it. We kind of fall back to it on the A, and then we go down here to the $50. It's only this side is really merged with the rim. Over here, we have a distinct breakaway from the rim. We can always see that big gouge right there. We're under magnification, so this all looks a lot worse than it, kind of looks at the naked eye. There's the AW there. But yeah, so I'd say yes, right? So this is how we're going to go through grading. This is an example of how we're going to go through grading some of these coins, right? And having fun with it. Metal detecting is something, by the way, Roadkill, just kind of aside here. Metal detecting is something I definitely, if I were closer to retirement age, I think that's something I'm definitely going to do, is find some people that have a lot of land that maybe, could give me permission. Find some city areas that, have like public parks or public access that allow me to do that, beaches, things like that. I think metal detecting, if you could find some historical part of, where I live, there's a lot of like old battles and stuff. So you can find old, steel bullets, or not steel bullets, but lead bullets and stuff. And you can find, it's like just old stuff. And it's really cool. Buckles and sheaths and dagger. Like you can find really cool stuff from war era, out that like Gettysburg type areas and stuff like that. So finding those places where they're where you can get access to go and metal detect, you can find some really, really cool stuff. So that's kind of what I would look to do. Like if I was retired, I'd probably take like metal detecting trips, just go out somewhere for a weekend and shack up in the RV or in the truck or something, and then just go out there and metal detect for a couple days and head home. It'd be fun. All right, so I would say that on the grading criteria that we just went through, I would have to say that yes, absolutely. And let me know if you guys agree or disagree. I would say absolutely, we satisfy the conditions for this right here about good. So I would say at the minimum, this coin should get an AG3 based on this criteria. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can qualify for the good section. I don't think we're going to qualify for VG anyway, so I don't think we need to worry about it with this coin. But now we're going to go through it and see if we're going to look at it again and see if we can't qualify for their definition of what they consider a good coin. And they give a picture example. So same thing. We'll switch it back over. Bam. All right. So on the obverse, let's start with the obverse here. On the obverse, it says that the entire design is well worn. Right? I mean, yes, we've already kind of said that. With very little detail remaining. I would agree with that. Like, I can see, right? I can see detail here. I can even see a star right there. And a couple more stars there. I can see a few stars, okay? I can see some of the blouse there. I can see the rays of the sun. I can even see some of the lines in the skirt, in the blouse, or whatever. And I can see the sandals and stuff. So I would say, in my opinion, yes, I would say that this design is well worn with very little detail remaining. Legend and date are weak but visible. So that's the same thing about the being weak but readable. I would say that feels like that qualifies to me. That's weak and readable to me. It's definitely readable. There's no doubt about that you can read this date. And this is actually almost exactly what the image shows of the coin, where it's like in that diagonal strip is worn right across, like, so you got like half of the 1-9 and then just partial of the last two digits. That's almost exactly what the picture shows, and that's what it looks like here. So I'd say yes, we do qualify for that. Top of the date may be worn flat. Yep, I would agree. So you can see that like bar right there where like it's the land strip where she's walking on goes by. That's the one of the top higher points. So when they have the date printed on there, that part, since it's being a higher point, it's going to get rubbed away, whereas these parts of the numbers are lower next to the rim. They're kind of, depressed into the coin a little bit. They don't wear as fast. So that's what I'm thinking, obviously with this coin series, that's one wear mark. Yes, this looks exactly like that. And then the rim is flat, but nearly complete. I think that we do qualify this. I mean, the rim is flat, right? The rim is flat. However, I can pretty much follow this all the way around, and you can, there's a little bit of a gap there, but for the most part, I can see that the rim was there, and it gets actually decent at the bottom there, the bottom right. I would say that so far, based on, again, this isn't NGC or PCGS telling us this, but I would say based on that, we do qualify for at the very least, a good 4. Now, I have no idea if it's a 5, 6, or 7. Again, that's the good condition for G4, and I think that we absolutely qualify for a G4 on the obverse. Now, will some of these other edge dings and stuff, will some of these extra dings and scratches and stuff, I don't know if that actually takes away from a G4, because it says that these coins are all worn out and beat up anyway. Now, if this coin were like had a big chunk missing on the side or bent, that would probably drop it pretty significantly. But I'd say the coin still has some, eye appeal and luster, some. And because of the eye appeal, right, like those are parts of the grade. It's like 15%, but those are parts of the grade besides just the actual condition of the coin. I have one tube of standing Liberty quarters, and I can fit a full jumbo cotton ball in it, capped it off. I know rim wear isn't much weight, but it looks so bad. Yeah, rim wear does. Again, the problem though is Penny Scout. Like when you're starting to get coins that are over 100 years old, and you're getting coins that are super rare. I mean, you can look it up. Look up the 1921 Philadelphia and 1921 D Denver Walking Liberty $50. Just look up prices just to buy them, even in crappy condition like this, right? They're very and then go look at a coin that we would want to collect, right? Like go look at a nice version of this coin in even let's just say an AU 58. Go look at the prices, and you'll understand why beggars can't be choosers, right? So I'm not gonna pay $9,000 for an okay looking coin. This coin is just super rare. And I don't know, this one is actually the S. This is the San Francisco, so this one's got like 540,000 mintages. But the other one I have over here only has 240,000, and that's what was minted. That's not what still exists in the world. What still exists in the world is estimated to be like below 10% left, which would put it at below 24,000 of them left. If that gives you a perspective as to why I might be concerning myself with a coin that looks as rough as this, But if you go and look at the sales, you start getting into, you don't even have to get very high in the grading scale on some of these to start making thousands of dollars, or getting into the thousands of dollars of value range. All right, let's go to the obverse, and then I think we kind of like found our settling point here, because I don't think this is VG, because VG, I'll read VG again and understand why it doesn't make it that high. But this is how I would do grading. I would go through, start at the bottom, right? Start at the bottom, check off all the boxes for what qualifies for that grade, then go to the next grade. Try to check off all the boxes for the next grade, then go to the next grade. Try to check, and then eventually you get to the point where you stop checking off boxes and you go, okay, I've now identified at the very least like the high top end of what this coin could be worth, or not worth, sorry, what this coin's quality is, or grade would be. And then you would kind of go back. You work backwards, and I would say, okay, you're going to try to find some happy medium between the place where you checked off all the boxes and the place where you checked off most of the boxes. And that range is probably what your coin is going to grade at. All right. So going back to the obverse, or the reverse, excuse me, the eagle is worn nearly flat, but is completely outlined. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's true here. Like it's not so worn down that the eagle doesn't show. So like that, we 100% make that condition. And then it says lettering and motto are worn but clearly visible. Yes, I mean that's worn but clearly visible. That's worn but clearly visible. That's worn but clearly visible, right? So I mean we 100% qualify. I think this coin 100% qualifies for G4. Again, we don't know if it's going to qualify for G5, G6, or G7. But what we can do now is we can go to VG8, right? Now we can go to the VG8 level right here and see how many of these conditions we satisfy at VG8. If we satisfy most, but not all, maybe we're closer to a G7 or G6, right? If we satisfy almost none of these, right, none of these conditions, then we're probably closer to a G4 or G5. Do you guys feel me on this one? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So, all right, let's go through, check out the microscope. Let's go through the VGs. All right, so VG now is going to be, now obviously this whole process gets faster the more coins you handle and the more you're kind of comfortable. Like, and at some point, like I wouldn't need to start at, some coins you can jump into the middle, right? You don't have to start at a G or at AG. You could start like at extremely fine or fine because you have a pretty good coin. So you'll basically get to the point where what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of my coins and I'm going to separate their classifications, right? We'll separate all their classifications and then we'll only just kind of focus on the ones that kind of like are past the point of where we want to start. That's what my expectation is. Okay, obverse. The entire design is weak. Most details in the gown are worn smooth, except for coins after 1921. So this coin is 1921. So most details in the gown are worn smooth. We actually qualify for that, I believe, because I can see some details for sure in the gown. You can see the folds, right? You can see the stripes on some of these parts. I can even see stripes there on this right side. So we absolutely, I think, qualify that. Most details in the gown are worn smooth except for coins after 1921, on which half the stripes must show. So after 1921, they're saying half the stripes must show. We have a 1921 here, and I would still say that almost half, if not half, of the stripes are showing. So I think we're okay on that so far. Date and all letters are clear, but top of motto may be weak. I mean, I hate to say it. I think we almost qualify for that, right? This is the motto here, and it says it may be weak. That's weak. It's actually, it's readable by the naked eye, not just with a magnifying glass, but I can look down at this coin and I see the motto. So I would say that we do qualify for the letters being clear, but top of motto may be weak. Where we fail though is here. Sorry. We fail here. The L, right? We're missing part of the L. We're missing part of the I. B, the E definitely, the R definitely, and we got the T and the Y. So we fail the lettering. We passed the motto, but we fail the lettering. So I would say now at this point, we already have like one checkbox that we could not check at VG8. And the example they show here actually has the lettering very clear, like on the outside of it. Okay, then it says drapery across body is partially visible. All right, and then it says also rim is complete. We cannot say that yes for this coin. Right there, the rim is pretty much worn away at the bottom there. You can't see it. I think there was a spot over here as well. Yep, right there on the top, the rim is pretty worn away there. You can't really distinguish it separate. So I'd say we failed that one. So now we failed 2 of like these 5 identifiers. So we know, I think at this point we could probably come to the conclusion that this coin is not going to be a VG8. However, we did meet some of the conditions of a VG8. So I am probably in my mind thinking that we're at the top of the G scale here at 6, most likely a 6. Maybe a 7, depending on how the graders look at it. But yeah, all right. So again, you guys understand me? Follow me? So this is my little, again, this is me educating myself at the same time as presenting it. So that's where we're at. All right. So I don't think we would qualify for VG8 at all. But we'll go ahead and now see how many boxes we check for the reverse, because remember the reverse is part of the coin as well. So is the edge, which doesn't get enough attention, but you know, the reeded edge is part of the coin. It gets graded as well. So you're looking for giant dings or cracks or whatever in that. So here we go. The obverse. About 1/3 of the feathers are visible. I mean, I can stop right there. I would say no. We fail that one. You know, the feathers, if you look at a brilliant one of these coins, like the feathers are everywhere. The whole body of the bird, all the wings are covered in feathers. So we definitely fail that condition. And large feathers at the ends of the wings are well separated. I think we passed that. I do think that we passed the separation of the large feathers at the end of the wings. So we're 1 for 2, but barely that second one. Eye is visible. The eye is visible. I told you guys we need to see the eye. The eye is barely visible, so I would say no. Rim is full and letters are clear. Again, we already know for sure that's a negative right there. So again, we have confirmed that this coin, 1921 San Francisco, this coin will not qualify for VG8. It does qualify for G4, and it has some of the qualifiers for a VG8. Therefore, I would probably put this coin, if I were going to send it off for grading, I would expect probably to get a G6 is what I would guess. I would be happy with the G7. And I would be probably disappointed with a G4, right? I'd be okay with a G5 or a G6. I'd be happy with the G7 because I feel like that's probably like a +1. We know it's not going to be a VG8, and we know it qualifies for G4. So you'd be disappointed at a 4. I think I'd be, yeah, that's probably where I would put. So, and I would just put that on the, if I were going to send this coin off, don't plan to. We can look up, you know, estimated valuations on PCGS for a G5 or G6. I don't think it's going to be anything more than, you know, the raw coin value. And that's the game, right? That's what we're trying to learn here to do. So that was the 1921 San Francisco 500, I think 48,000 of them ever minted. And now if you give me 1 second here, I am going to pull out the 1921 Philadelphia. We'll go through and check that out. Probably a little bit faster of a rate here. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. And I can look at my album too and see if this is an upgrade for the one that I have in my album. If it is, I will swap them. This one, the 1921 Philadelphia. Actually, I don't own that. It's the first time I've owned this coin, so we'll do that. 1921S, they're about the same. Obviously, you know, don't want to like mistreat this coin because it is a nice coin, but I think the one I have in my album actually is a little bit nicer of a quality than the one that we just went through. So we'll hold that one out for now. Put that into the tube of pre-33 dates there. All right. Same exact issue. I'm going to bound through it. Ready? Here we go. Figure is outlined with nearly all details worn away. Legend is visible, but half worn away. Date is weak, but readable. Rim merges with letters. Okay. I actually see a little bit of the rim right there. So I can already say that we're probably, you know, weak letters for sure. Look at the rays of the sun, as this one is a lot more worn out than that last one. Figure is definitely fully outlined. You can see it. I can see all the letters. even though they're worn. This one's got some weird wear patterns, honestly. This one's worn more on the inside than the outside, which is kind of odd. The motto is there. It's pretty well worn. But I do see parts of, there's the date. It's worn, but it's readable. And I do see parts of the rim here. So I would say that this, you know, already, we can probably just skip right above about good and go into the good. Entire design is well worn with very little detail remaining. Yeah, I agree with that. We still see some of the stripes though. Legend and date are weak but visible. Yep, we're good there. We've got that. We've got all this right here. We can see it. It's weak, but it is there. It is readable. Right. Top of the date may be worn flat. Rim is flat but nearly complete. So top of the date can be worn flat. It is. We agree with that. And nearly complete rim, you know, I can see it for most of it. There's a couple spots there I saw, like especially right here again. Rim is gone really right there, but you can see it kind of pops back up all the way around there, all the way around, and then we lose it a little bit up here. So I don't know if that would qualify nearly complete or not. So just going right here on that, I'm feeling like this is probably in the G4 range. Switch over to the reverse. Eagle is worn nearly flat, but is completely outlined. Yep, we're good there. Yep, satisfied. And then lettering and motto are worn but clearly visible. So worn for sure, clearly visible for sure. There's the $50. Boom. And there we go. Since this one is, I think, in my opinion, this one is a little bit of a worse. I mean, you can see a little bit of the eye. You can see some of the feathering there. I mean, so it's kind of weird. This one's just worn in weird spots. So this one almost makes me think that like this possibly could be, in a way, I feel like this could be like a doctored coin. Maybe I'm crazy here. And what concerns me the most is right here. And I don't know how this happens, but what's really weird to me is how this whole area here, where like the field would be, this part is like one of the lowest parts in the entire coin. And what's concerning me is that like all the T and all this area and the Y and the top of the God is worn, but the rim is still somewhat intact. And I don't see how, unless maybe it was like this coin was constantly rubbing against like quarters that are a little bit smaller. It was just not making it all the way to the edge. But it's kind of got, to me, this has got weird wear patterns. I don't know enough about, I haven't looked at enough of these coins to know if this is a common feature to have this inner part worn out, but the outside still being like somewhat intact. But it just seems very odd to me that it's like that, especially same with here. Like the last coin we just looked at, and we swap it out real quick. This coin was worn out too, but it still retained the rays of the sun pretty well. And then I look at this coin, and this coin, the rays are almost all completely worn off of this coin. So it's very, very odd. Yeah, give me 1 second, Roadkill. I gotta get my phone. Oh, the problem with some of these older coins is they're so worn that they kind of ping weird, but for the most part, they all work. Just opened up a just opened up a box. Hey, what's up? And I randomly had just opened up a box and randomly had 2 silver quarters sitting in. I was like, what the heck is this? All right. It passed. Instantly passed all 4 peaks. That was the right one, right? Oh no, that was the S. The S passed instantly, so that's a good start. All right, this one passed all 4 instantly as well. So, yeah, good call. I mean, I just got this in yesterday, so it's worth checking all of them anyway. And then obviously you can send them back and get a refund, depending on who you sent them, who you bought it from, or where you bought it from. But yeah, so it passed the ping test. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. But it is weird wear patterns for me. So I just, again, it's probably just my inexperience and unfamiliarity with the coin. We'll see. Yeah, well, at least we have a good idea. I've got calipers as well, but I think it's just a little bit extreme for a coin. It's not cheap, but it's not, you know, a lot. All right, so in the pocket pinger thing, I don't know if you guys know about this thing. The app is free. I could also give you the code to unlock the app. But yeah, god damn. Excuse me. This thing would not hold up. Yeah, so the app, you can go ahead and do all this stuff too, but it's hard. Again, some of these coins are burned out, but you can basically, they have like a little bit of a version here that you can do to make sure the size is right. And again, sometimes these coins are worn down a little bit, so they're not perfect. And then you go through the thickness there. Again, it works. These dimensions work better for like a non-worn down coin like this, you know, like a more of an uncirculated coin. But yeah, this app is, I check all of my like silver eagles and all that kind of crap with this thing. It doesn't work great for like fractional and like foreign gold coins that I've seen. So really kind of just need like a metal analytics for that, or whatever, Sigma. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to stick with this coin being probably in the G4 range, whereas I think that 1921S is probably closer to like a G5 or a G6. Not the most exciting, thrilling thing, right? To look at, you know, coins that aren't that great. So what I'll do is, oh, and by the way, this one is going in the 1921 Denver. It is going in the album. So let's go ahead and set this up for myself real quick. That's the old sound effect whenever we add a new coin to our album here. So we got to go right here, 1921 Philadelphia, excuse me, not D, Philadelphia. Wrong thing earlier. And welcome to your new home. Bam. Right there into the old Littleton album. Slide it back in. He's locked in for life. So we still need the 21D, 23S, and then I need some of the earlier dates. So I'll be on the lookout. I might start trying to, you know, I'll start trying to fill out some of these. That's a good grade G4. I mean, G4 is, you know, that was the worst. The other one was, I really do think the other one, the 1921S, I think this one would probably be a G5, G6. It has a lot more detail than the Philadelphia did. And it qualified almost qualified for the very good, except for the, you know, full lettering and full rim. There we go. Nice in the old pocket pinger. Get yourself one. I do stand by the pocket pinger. I do like it. Now let me open up some of these. So these, again, I'm not going to go through all of these. I just want to go through a couple of them as we're going through this grading exercise. These were the coins that I actually wanted to send off for grading. You know what? Maybe maybe I'll just include this one too, because why not, right? I mean, we made an estimate on it. We can get it when we get it back. We can see if our estimate was accurate or not. So I'll just go ahead and throw it in there. I'm going to write on this thing just so I can remember what it was. We said what? Probably like G5 to 6 is what I'm going to write on it, just so I remember. Okay. Let me just pull one of these guys out and we'll just throw it under the microscope and check it out. Some random coin here. We're going to be getting into, what's up, THS, my metalhead? Welcome back. All right. 1 second. Secure these so I don't lose them all and they don't flop off on the desk. Maybe I can be blue. Oh my gosh. Are you still going on about the blues? I know most channels just like moderate every single person, this and that. I'd be honest, like I don't put that much thought into it. THS. It's too much effort to even go over to the YouTube channel and mod it. Especially doing it live. I don't have it all up. What's going on, Christian Love? Welcome to Humble Stacker. Dang, you guys are popping in here. Appreciate it. If you're just joining us, and you're like, what are these guys rambling about? What's this guy rambling about? Let me get you guys caught up. I just picked up a 1921 Philadelphia Walking Liberty $50 and also a 1921 S Walking Liberty $50, both of which are very rare coins, right? Super key dates, low, high rarity key dates. And we just went through the grading exercise to determine how we think that those coins would grade. And we pulled it out. This is actually not the Red Book Humble Stacker. This is the American Numismatic Association grading standards for United States coins. And we are using it. There is a Red Book to my left, but you shouldn't be able to see it. And then what we're doing and what we're going to do now is we're going to go through this. I also have my microscope scan. And we are now going to go through a much nicer coin in fine detail. And we're going to try to determine where we think this coin will grade on that scale. I mean, this coin, you can see the light changing the luster and the much better detail. So we just went through two old coins, very rare dates that were probably anywhere between G4 and G7. Now, we're going to do the same exercise, but with a much nicer coin. This is a 1943. Let's see what we got here on the backside. This is a 1943 Philadelphia in, I think we're probably going to jump straight to almost uncirculated condition and start going from there. So, real quick, how I would do this at home is, really, you see how there's like examples of these coins, right? I can already tell you, just looking at the eagle's bird, the breast feathers and the lady's chest and everything, we have much, THS, keep those thoughts when we're breaking it down detail by detail. And we'll, again, those are the kind of opinions and thoughts that we'll use to break down the ultimate grade. Okay, so we're going to skip very good. I feel like we're way past this, right? Well worn, design is clear, but flat, lacking details. Like, we're well beyond that. So we're going to we work our way back. So now, let's look at fine. Fine says moderate to heavy, even wear. Entire design is clear and bold, but like you can see, worn right down the middle. It's not fake. It's not fake. Oh my goodness. It's a microscope. All right, here, let me get it for you. Oh, geez. Boobies verified. Exactly. You got it. Christian Love knows what's going on. Goodness gracious. Throwing fakes out there for everything. All right, hold on. Where's it? Oh, sorry. All four peaks confirm size and weight. Okay. Get out of here, THS, of this fakeness. Golly. All right. All four peaks. Gosh. With friends like these, who needs enemies? You know what I mean? No, I test. So here's how it works, guys. I buy these in rolls of, $10 typically. And what I do is on unpacking day, I set my camera up high. I click record. I go through every single one. I pop it. I open the entire package and I go through every single coin and I do exactly what I just did. I look at it, ping test it, look at it, ping test it, look at it, ping test. This thing also has a scale if I need to on the magnifying glass. So like if something like gets 3 of 4 on the ping test, that's when I would go and like start weighing it and looking at it. I do this on camera for every single order I get, and then I know I'm done. And then I put them away. I put them away after that. So we should be good. The only way this would be bad is if like the ones that I got from my local coin shop, I actually don't test those. The ones that I pick out of their $50 bin, but they're never these good ones. So there we go. I have a 1916 unpitted full head on full date. All right, here we go. All right, let's go back to what we were doing before THS. Hey, this is not mod behavior. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're gonna keep going up here. Very fine. Oops, wrong. I don't. Let me do this screen first. Very fine, light to moderate, even wear. All major features are sharp. And I'm just looking at this coin like, we have way more features available than that. So I think we need to skip very fine and just move on to extra fine, right? Extra fine here, light, very light wear on only the highest points. So right here, we're looking, you got wear coming down here and you got wear coming across the front leg. And then it'll be the same thing kind of over here. The wear will be kind of like on these breast feathers. You can see how it's like rubbed smooth and you can't see the breast feathers. If I look over, just simply look at this coin really quickly, even with the naked eye. Let me switch over here for you guys. Right. I can see a lot more of the breast feathers than on there. Maybe a little bit of light wear there. So I would say that we're still probably above the extremely fine level. So I'm just going to jump forward to the about uncirculated. Now we're looking at AU50 is where about uncirculated starts. Right? So AU50 is where uncirculated extremely fine goes from 45 to 49, and then AU50. So I will probably, yeah, it's your Jersey attitude. My wife is from Jersey, so we're good. We're good. We're gonna start with AU55 or 50, excuse me. And I'm gonna work my way up. And I think about uncirculated is where we should start. And then, you know, hey, if it's mint state, it's mint state. I don't think this coin's mint state because I've already identified a couple places where I see some abrasions, and I feel like, you know, you can't get to mint state if it's circulated. So my plan is to go from 50 to 60, or 50 to 59, and see where we think this works in there. So I'm going to go switch back over to the microscope screen as I read through these conditions and we discuss. I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of lost that 1921. Oh no, I put it in. Okay, I was freaking out for a second because I couldn't find the coin. I forgot that I actually put it in here and wrote our expected grade on there. I was like, where did I throw that coin? That's not a cheap coin to just lose. All right. All right, about uncirculated. Let's get it after it. Microscope, we need to go to the obverse to start here. Boom. All right. Here we go, Lady Liberty. Yeah, look at that little ding right there. You have a 1921 Walker. Nice, humble stacker. The only one I need left is the 1921 Denver. That's what I'm looking for next, bud. That's what my question, the question on the channel, right, is what is your rarest coin that you own? I know a lot of people have like some really nice Morgans and stuff like that. So just curious what people have that they have, you know, that they enjoy. Oh. And a little coffee hit. Let's do this. AU50. Traces of wear show on head, breast, arms, and left leg. I'd say really not really. Not really. I see like the cheek is rounded. That's what I'm kind of looking for. Oh, wrong pointer. That pointer's a little bit too big. Pretty rounded there. Oh, an 1884 Carson City. Let's go, dude. I don't see much wear there, right? It looks okay. And foreleg, front leg. I'm looking at the front leg right here. I can see the folds of the drape. I can see the folds right there, which would be kind of where I'm looking for any wear right here. I can see the lines coming through. Now, this is obviously a big gash right here, right? So I would say, not sure they're all in the ammo can. Nice thing. I would say that we pass already the AU50 on the obverse, and the obverse is majority. So I'm going to go ahead and like look at the sandal details and stuff. Looking nice, looking real nice. I'm going to go ahead and say that we're past this. So let's move up to AU55. And again, we keep stepping up. We keep stepping up. And as soon as we can't satisfy, as soon as we don't satisfy the condition for the current grade that we're looking at, then we step it back down and we look and try to figure out what range that we'd be in. So there we go. Going on, my friend Pang. All right. Excuse me. AU55 choice. Only trace of wear shows on highest point of head, breast, and right arm. I don't see any wear. Now, I see scratches. We're not talking about scratches yet. We're just talking about wear. I don't see any wear on the right arm. I still don't really see, let me see if I can get some shadow on there for you guys to see. I don't see any wear on the head, really. I mean, maybe some on the cheek. I can't really, it's almost too bright, but I don't really see anything right there. We have to look a little closer. I don't really see anything on the breast. Like, you know, it looks to be rounded and shaped. And then I'm looking again down here, the left hand, maybe. I can't tell. This is where, again, my inexperience kicks in. I can't tell if this is wear on the left hand, wiping out that detail, where her hand should be right there, right? Or if this is just a weak strike. So this is where the inexperience will come kick in and kind of like cost, you know, inexperienced people money sitting in for grading. So for me, it's right there. Surface, much of the mint luster is still present, but often lightly worn in obverse right field. I think that we have quite a bit of pretty good luster on this one. I can't really show it on the camera like this, but yeah. So let's go into the reverse and see if we can change our opinion here on this coin. All right, so we're still looking at AU55. A trace of wear shows below the neck and on the left leg, between the breast and left wing. So let's start with the top here. A trace of wear shows below the neck. I would say that's like right in here. I feel like a yes. I would say like a yes. I feel like there is some wear there. There is somewhere there. It's almost like the discoloration and the smoothness at the same time, right? So I would be expecting some neck feathers right here, and I kind of don't see them, right? In there. And a good way to do this would be to look at it like look at it with an MS, you know, 65 type coin, and look at the difference between this coin and that coin, so you can really start to identify where the wear might be. So you can use that, but I feel like there is wear there. Let's use this as an example here. Okay, let's see if this will go through here. Okay, look at the difference. See that? And look at this. You see it now? What I'm talking about? See all the feathers hanging off the neck, and then we look at this guy, and he doesn't have those. So we have confirmed now that there is, right? We can confirm now that there is wear, or we have a very light strike. That would be kind of the two things. But because of sort of the discoloration that you can't really pick up on the camera with the microscope, there's a little bit of a graying discoloration in the silver luster when I shine the light in different directions. So for me, when I see like the different color and the graying, it makes me think that, hey, that's got to be wear. So that's got to be wear causing that weird discoloration right there across the middle. And then boom. What's up, Mustard and Biscuits? How's it going? 3 is the limit. What are y'all talking about? Oh boy, a quadruple sneeze. Oh, you're talking about sneezes. I call it quadruple sneeze. Stupid allergies. My kid is getting tore up right now. Yeah, that happens. So that's why, again, I was talking about why I bought these MS65s. And it's because I wanted to get a very solid grade so that when I was going through, I was trying to grade some of these other coins, we could identify those things. So let's go back now here. Let's look at that left hand that we were concerned about. We see there, you can see that left hand right there. You can see the gap in the thumb and the index finger, the wrist bend a little bit. And then when we looked at this one right here, right, we can see that that hand is like barely visible at all. And possibly the left breast detail, I can see some right there. Like we can see the under the cuff right there. So the left breast looks okay, but I would say there's might be a little bit of wear just under it and on that left hand. So for me, I think that we're at an AU55 area based on it's muskets, boys, muskets. I think we're around the AU55 on this ungraded coin. So, you know, in reality, you know, this would not be. And then also we've got like, let's look now that we've kind of got an idea for the surface wear. Here's AU58. Let me read AU58. Very choice. Has some sides of abrasion. Hair above Liberty's temple, right arm, left breast, high points of eagle's head, breast, legs, and wings. Coins of this design frequently show weakly struck spots and usually lack full head and hand details, but often lightly worn in obverse right field. There's a chance, right? There's a chance that this would qualify for an AU58, but I think it would have to be on a generous greater scale because we also have this indentation right here. That's on a highly visible point. And whenever there's marks on highly visible points, that's a detractor as well. So I don't know, again, I can't determine if this is a weak strike or a wear down right here, but you can see there's a little bit of wear up here by her ear and face. So we know that we have lightly wear. I'm going to fall back now. Based on this, guys, I would be falling back here to probably this AU 55 area, maybe a 56 area. So if I were to send this coin in, I would be pretty happy with getting an AU 55, I think. Now, do you send in a Walking Liberty $50 of a 1943 to get an AU 50, an AU 53? Absolutely not. All right, that's not something I would do. So this coin would, in theory, be removed from our submissions because it's just not worth the grading costs to try to get it back and commemorate this coin in any way. So this one will be basically dumped into the bulk bin for everybody else. So let me go through here. 1943. What was this one again? 1943 Philly. I'll look it up for you real quick. In what we expect to be AU 55. So here, just so you know, PCGS has the current grading at a 40. A 40 is $46, and a 60 is $75. Okay, this coin is probably, what, 28 bucks right now with the cost, the silver price in it. Grading costs are 30 bucks. So let's just call it 60 bucks just to get this coin graded. And we know for a fact it's not going to get a AU or whatever, an MS60. We know it's not going to get an MS60. So therefore, we are not, this would not be a thing. Let me go through the grades 25 to 60. Let me share the screen for you so you guys see what I'm doing. 1 second. Let me see here. Pop it. There we go. So this is what I'm looking at. You guys can see the microscope down there for the coin that we're inspecting. So 1943 Philadelphia, and we can go through all the different grades. We think that it's going to be somewhere between a 55 and 56, maybe. So if I just go to 55, it's saying anywhere between 58 to 60 bucks. That's the raw cost of the coin plus the grading service. And then even if I perform a little bit better at a 58, let's say it performs the highest level, this would only be worth 65 to 70 bucks. So this coin is absolutely not worth grading. In fact, it doesn't even get worth grading until well above the 60s because this coin is so old. Now, if we were to jump back into the 1921 that we were checking earlier, right? And we were checking this 1921 Philly. Look at this. All of a sudden, if you can even get a 25, you've got a $1,200 roughly coin. Give or take whatever, 10%, 15%, whatever it is. And then you get into the same grade with the 50. Right, we're all of a sudden talking $5,000 coins. So huge differences, guys, in what these do. 1921D, about the same as the 21. So you can see why you might want to try to find some nicer versions of these. Even if they're worn, you still want to try to find some. At least it wasn't the front. You probably would have noticed, though. Did my truck brakes the other day? Did the wife's SUV never drive? I bet her rear calipers have been locked up for a minimum of 2 years. Goodness. Goodness. Yeah, exactly. Muskets and biscuits. You got it right. Mustard and biscuits. You got it. You got it down there, Pat. I just did brakes and rotors on one of my vehicles, and then in so doing, we found a brake line leak as well. So now this will be the second vehicle in a month that I've had to fix a brake line leak for, and this will be the third vehicle that I had brake issues with all in the same month. So I am about worn out of vehicular repairs, ladies and gentlemen. 8 sheets of paper thick left on the pads. Penny Scout, I'm guessing you live in a state that does not require annual inspections. She's like, why is it squeaking so much? Get some WD-40, honey. Like, no, it's not WD-40, brother. You have literally no brake pads. You're grinding your rotors into a saw blade. All right, yeah, so that's what we're looking at. There's not, it's not too complicated there, but when we look at the coin, if the coin is not worth grading, it's not worth grading, and you just move on. It's not a big deal. So while this one is a beautiful coin, this is a very nice specimen of the 1943. It has those dings and dangs, and it's got some wear in those spots that it shouldn't have it. And, well, it should have it, but it's got some wear and tear, and it makes it to where you cannot grade this coin. Now, we haven't even looked at the edge, because remember, the edge is part of the coin. So you do have to look at the edge to make sure as well before you do your final analysis. So Glad we went through this little process here. We went through some older coins that are much lower condition, and we went through a newer coin here that was much higher condition. I have my entire packet of stuff at some point here. We have our entire packet of coins that we do want to go through. We can now exclude this coin, right? We can now exclude this coin from needing to be graded and dump it back in with all of our other bulk coins. Even though it's a pretty little specimen, it's just not worth anything more than being a bulk. So it goes back into one of our bulk piles here. I have this entire tube of, this entire tube is coins of 1933 and earlier, Walking Liberty $50. So these coins we might still go through and check out what's going on. If there's any coins, again, if we can get some of those older coins into like a 25 level, which is over here in the very fines, if we can get into very fine range with an older coin, we're starting to talk about thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of dollars. Those would be worth grading. So, and some of these coins are a little bit worn down. Now we got to start seeing some of these details, right? We got to start seeing clear dates. We got to start seeing, most of Lady Liberty. We got to start seeing a lot of feathers. We start seeing those things, we'll pull them out and we'll kind of do a bigger deep dive on them. And it may be worth just the big 3 Tesla makes the big 4. Don't forget Pearl Harbor. Be proud to be American. Show it mad. Make a difference daily. Buy American. There you go. All right, boys. That's really all I wanted to do. This was a little bit longer than I thought. Hopefully it's got some value for you. You got some value out of like going through my little grading process. And we authenticated some coins with a little ping tester as well. We went through and compared 65s to some of these coins, and this was good for me. I have a plan. And let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of like just breakdown of these coins and conversation. I know it can be quite boring. Maybe it was something nice to just have on the background on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. But this is it. I just was learning grading and going through the process and trying to find coins that might be worth our time to grade. Appreciate you your paying attention and your support through liking and subscribing and hanging out with us. And I'll see you guys on the next video, possibly tonight. I might do a little double header tonight when the market opens back up. All right, you expect to be blue next time. Don't be sad. You're gonna be all right. I know that's not what you're talking about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Kick A's and take names, right?